Hi, I'm Elaine, Occupational Health Physio for the Trust, and I'm here today with my colleagues Julie and Leslie from the Moving and Handling team. The purpose of this video is to link with your DSC online training that you have to do annually, particularly if you've highlighted issues with your workstation as a result of that training. Hopefully today you'll find some helpful hints and guidance on how you can try and adjust your workstation to alleviate your problems. So I hope you find it helpful. First of all, we want to think about the chair, and initially the height of the chair. The height of the chair you want to adjust to suit the desk and not your leg length. The lever for the adjustment you'll usually find on the right hand side of your chair by the seat. You usually pull the lever up and you can adjust the chair to suit. The height you're looking at is so that when you're typing, your elbows are just above or level with the desk, so that to ensure and to allow this horizontal forearm when you're typing, and a pretty much 90-degree or decent elbow bend, approximately 90 degrees at the elbow. Next, I want to look at the backrest. Display screen equipment guidelines suggest that the backrest should adjust in height and also in angle. This is a fairly basic chair which you'll see around the Trust. There are some other varieties which we'll go on to later. The basic chair, usually you'll find a knob for adjustment on the left of the chair. What you need to do is just loosen the knob anti-clockwise, move the chair back up to suit, and then secure again. What you're looking for is for the curve of the seat to fit into your low back curve and to give you that support. So majority of chairs is to adjust the knob here anti-clockwise, push the back of the chair up to suit, and then secure. Next, you want to look at adjusting the backrest angle so that it's in a comfortable position, not too far back but also not too vertical. The lever for this is usually on the right under the seat, in which case you'll release, pull up to release, adjust the backrest to suit, and then Julie, if you'd like to push it down to lock it into position. The angle that you choose should facilitate the 90-degree angle at your elbows when you're sitting close up to your desk. When you've made those adjustments, if you find that your feet aren't on the floor, then you may need to use a footrest. When you've adjusted yourself to suit, one thing to check is that your knee level is level to or lower than your hips. This facilitates a good pelvic position and a nice low back curve. If your knees come higher than your hips, your pelvis will tilt backwards and your low back will bend or flex. Arms on a chair aren't a necessity. They're useful for people who struggle to get out of a chair if they've got hip or knee problems and need to push themselves out of a chair. Otherwise, some people like and some people don't like them. It's an individual preference. If you do have them, they should either be adjustable or should not prevent you getting close enough to your desk. If they're too high, you may find that you're limited in your desk position, particularly if you're sitting at a curved desk. One arm may catch and one arm may go underneath. Most are adjustable by pulling a lever and adjusting to suit, which will then allow you to get yourself close enough to your computer and to your keyboard. If you find that you can't adjust yours or they don't adjust low enough and they are obstructing your position, then you need to arrange to get them removed. Different chairs have different adjustments, and you may find some chairs within the Trust that have a seat slide facility. This allows the chair to fit a taller or a shorter person. The lever for this is usually on the left under the seat. You would pull to release, slide the seat back for the shorter leg, or slide the seat longer for the longer leg. The guide you're looking for is that you should have between 2 and 4 fingers between the front edge of your chair and your knee crease. If the chair's too long, you'll tend to encroach on your blood vessels and give yourself pins and needles in your legs. If the chair seat's too short, you won't have enough thigh support. The adjustments we've already mentioned on the basic chair, you may find are slightly different on another chair. The seat height is usually on the right-hand side. The backrest may be different. On this particular chair, there is a lever at the back which will release and allow you to alter the backrest on a ratchet mechanism. This is easier to adjust while you're sitting in the chair than the other basic chair is. Again, you're looking for that nice position of that lumbar curve to be in your low back. Some chairs have a tilt or free float mechanism, and different chairs have different mechanisms. This particular chair that you may see around the Trust has a lever here that allows the seat to tilt. The Bonus of this is that again it will tilt you and have your knees lower than your hips, which will encourage a tilt of your pelvis and a nice curve in your low back. This chair's got a quite nice mechanism and you can actually leave it on free float if you like and sit. The idea is that rather than sitting statically, you sit actively. Otherwise you can tilt the seat, put it wherever you like and then lock it off and leave it there. Another chair you may see around the trust is this one. Again, this has a tilt facility. On this chair, it's the middle lever. These levers are actually quite good because they have pictures on which are fairly self-explanatory. You would pull the middle lever up to tilt the chair. This facility isn't quite as advanced as the other chair I've just shown you. You can have it on free float. Don't just rock backwards and forwards, Julie. But it's not quite as a nicer mechanism. So you may find that you want to leave this one in a position that suits you. Again, you want to look for a horizontal chair, seat, or a slight tilt. You don't want to have the seat tilting backwards. You don't want to put your hips lower than your knees because you will flex yourself here. So you may want to tilt the seat forward and lock it off by pushing down. With this chair, you would then, once you've done that, need to readjust the backrest to suit. So I just pull that lever up, Julie adjusts to suit, and we lock it back off. The backrest adjustment on this chair is again slightly different. It's a ratchet mechanism, quite easy for you to adjust yourself while sitting. So you just pull the chair up to suit. If you find that you've gone to the wrong position, what you can do is pull it all the way to the top. It will self-release back to the bottom and you can start again. Again, you're looking to get that low back, that curve of your chair into your low back. The other adjustment that this chair has, which is quite useful, is an inflatable lumbar support. Pumps up like this. It's a double check system because you can check then that actually what you should feel is that that pump is blowing up into your low back, so you'll know that you've got the backrest in the right position. And it's got a valve to release, so you can have that pump facility on or off or wherever it feels comfortable for you. Again, this seat has a seat slide mechanism that is similar to the previous chair. Again, the lever is on the left-hand side. You would just pull up to release, slide to lengthen the chair if needs be, and let go to lock. Getting your bottom back in the chair. Again, you're looking for that 2 to 4 fingers between the front edge of the chair and your knee crease. There should be enough room under your desk to allow you to move and stretch your legs as you need, and also to be able to utilise your whole desk without finding that you can't get your legs under that part of the desk. If you have things stored under the desk and they are encroaching on your space, then you do need to move them. To recap, a basic chair should meet most staff's needs. To be DSC or display screen equipment compliant, it needs to have a 5-star base with casters suitable for the flooring. It needs to be able to adjust in height, and also the backrest needs to be able to adjust in angle and also in height. If your chair hasn't got these adjustments, then it doesn't comply with DSC guidelines. And if you find that you adjust your chair to suit and it won't stay in place because the mechanism is broken, then again it isn't compliant and you need to speak to your manager. Next, we'd like to talk about the screen, and we're initially about the screen distance. The guidelines suggest that the distance of the screen away from you needs to be about arm's length. This may vary slightly depending on your focus, and some of the software may allow you the capacity to increase the font size if you need to. Screen height will depend on whether or not you wear glasses. If you wear normal reading glasses to use your screen, or you don't wear glasses, ideally you're looking, particularly if you're a touch typist, you're looking for the screen to be at a height whereby, as you're sitting straight in a nice sitting position, you are level with the top of your print or thereabouts. If you're on to touch typing and you tend to peck at your keys, it may suit you to have it slightly lower so that when you're looking at the keys repeatedly, you've not got such a long distance to move to, so that may suit you to be a little bit lower. If you wear varifocal glasses, it will depend on where you look out of your lens to see the screen. So some people tend to look out the bottom of the lens. In this case, they need the screen to be quite low. If the screen's too high, and Leslie was looking at the bottom of her lens to see, then she would automatically poke her chin, which would lead to tension in the back of her neck and probably the top of her shoulders. In that case, the screen needs to be as low as possible to allow her to be able to look out the bottom of her lens to see the print and keep a nice neck position. You may find in this position that you actually need to have your screen sat on the desk and not actually on the hard drive. If you look at the centre of your glasses, varifocal glasses, to see the screen, then you want your screen much higher. The theory being that if you're looking from the centre of your glasses towards the centre of your screen, you'll be able to see a majority of your work without having to either look too far down through the centre of your glasses or look too far up, to get that nice neutral neck posture. If you find that your screen doesn't adjust in height, then you could use something to sit it on. So you could sit it on the hard drive, or you can get monitor raisers of different heights to suit. Thinking about the keyboard, you want the keyboard fairly close to the front edge of the desk. A good guide is to have about hand's width distance between the front edge of the desk and the front of the keyboard to facilitate this 90-degree or decent 90-degree-ish or right angle bend at the elbow. Also in that position, you should find that your elbow is fairly close to the shoulder to kind of reduce any tension through the tops of the shoulders. If the keyboards are too far away, then you'll find that you're typing with fairly extended elbows. That draws the shoulders forwards and puts more tension through the tops of the shoulders. Most keyboards have a tilt facility that you can have on or off depending on your preference. The characters on the keyboard should be legible, so if the numbers or the letters are wearing off, then that needs addressing. You probably need a keyboard replacement. Wrist rests, some people like them, some people hate them. There's no real guideline with this. The idea of the wrist rest is for you to rest your wrist in between typing, ideally not to rest your wrist while you are typing. If you do that, what you'll tend to do is cause some compression through the carpal tunnel in the hand, which can cause your pins and needles into your hand. So ideally you want to type free floating and rest your wrists in between. With regards to the mouse, you want to have the mouse as close to your keyboard as you can. If you sit on a straight desk, close to the keyboard is usually ideal. If you find yourself sitting into the corner of your desk, you may even want to bring your mouse slightly closer. The idea being to facilitate that 90-degree bend at the elbow and reduce the pressure through the tops of your shoulders. There are various options of mouse. Some of you may have seen the grip mouse or vertical mouse. These are available, don't suit everyone and not needed for everyone, but sometimes if you have issues with your elbows, you may find that working in a more functional position can alleviate some of the tension through the elbow or the arm. If you work regularly from documents and have them placed on the desk to your side, either right or left, then what you'll find is that you're working from repeated or sustained rotation of the neck, which will predispose you to neck or upper back pain. In this instance, you'd be better having yourself a document holder positioned either to left or right, depending on your preference. Get the documents in a closer position to allow a better position of your neck. If you're a touch typist, you may well prefer the document holder to be to the side of you. Some of them will even clip to the side of the screen. The adjusted ones are quite nice because you can bring it closer or further away depending on the size of the print. If you aren't a touch typist, you may find it better to have your documents propped between keyboard and screen because you're looking down to the keyboard regularly anyway. There are various document holders on the market for this purpose. If you work regularly from a telephone, you'll need to have the telephone quite close to you. If you find yourself having to access information on the computer or input data while speaking on the phone and find yourself in this position on a regular basis, then this obviously will predispose you to all sorts of neck problems. In this instance, you really need to liaise with your manager with regards to getting a headset, particularly if you're in a shared office and a speakerphone facility isn't an option. Finally, to finish off, we'd like to suggest that you do get up and move away from your computer on a regular basis, at least once every hour. This might be to bring in different tasks that you have to do, or it might be to make your colleagues a well-earned cup of tea.